So just so you know, this is the jazz band portion of the concert. It is completely appropriate to applaud for soloists in the middle. A little different from our concert band kind of thing. Just wanted you to be aware. Thanks. So that tune featured Aiden, Tristan, and Taryn. And it was chosen by our student teacher, Mr. Lucas. So you'll hear more about him later. One of the things that I do, I started a tradition many moons ago, and didn't know I was starting a tradition when I started it, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet, I hope, because otherwise Mrs. Sears is going to come after me. But I talk about my seniors, and I tell a favorite story that I have about them. So the first senior I'm going to talk about right now actually really pushed for this piece to be chosen, and so now he's hiding because he's afraid of what story I'm going to tell. Adam, the word is fuels.
No.
So in the spirit of little brothers, when Adam and Taryn were small, they were trying to be included by their older siblings, and so they wrote a note to their older siblings who had locked them out, as one does. And the note said a word that we were pretty sure a chicken danced across the page, but it was not a school appropriate word, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. But when we asked them what it said, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick, and he said, it says, "Let us the fuels in." And I believe that note lived on his parents' refrigerator for a long, long time. So that is my Adam story. And now we're going to play the tune he picked, which is River Rat Shuffle. So here we go.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm Mr. Lucas. I'm the student teacher. I've been here since January. I've been, leading some rehearsals with them, and they've been nothing but a pleasure this entire semester. They've been funny, and they've worked so hard, and I think it shows tonight, and I'm very proud of them. For soloists, we had Adam. Adam's back, and then we had, who was second? Kelsey, right? Yep. And then third, we had Colton. And then, oh, that was switched. Colton was second, then Kelsey. And then last, we had Taryn. So, on a round of applause for them. Next up, we have Whirlybird.
And that one features Sid and the entire saxophone section. And I have another story to tell. And I'm going to tell two stories during the concert band too. So, the next person on my list is hiding in the back, and it's Tage Ekwall. So Tage is playing the tuba. Yep. And Tage comes in every day and has many, many, many things to say. And I have a phrase that I like to use with him. He informs me against my will. Sometimes I need to be educated about things. Sometimes I don't have the mental capacity. But Tage always has something to share with me, which is actually something that's really cool about him. But he informs me against my will. So that's my story for Tage. And now we're going to play Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
All right, and that concludes the majority of our jazz portion of the concert. However, we do have a few extra of us staying on to perform one more jazz song. The rising star Leve composed this song on her 2023 album titled Bewitched. Leve is an Icelandic Chinese singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist. From the Start is a jazz pop fusion, and this arrangement by Mr. Tony Lucas features Tristan Kelsey on tenor sax, me, Aiden Haas on flute, Taryn Laska on trombone, Cole Vaughn on piano, Noah Erickson on guitar, Braden Signorino on bongos, and we are also joined by 8th grader Colton Signorino on drum set.
Bye.